We're going to take a quick look at something you could create fairly quickly in Photoshop. I'm going to open a file, a piece of art created by my son, Samwise Myshak, who has the handle wafflenut.art on Instagram. It's one of my favorite pieces. Of course, I love all of them, but anyhow, I want to take a look at layers with you and show you how you might change the color of this background layer, maybe to make it gray so that the rest of the image pops a little bit more. What we can do is do layer and then duplicate layer. So now we have two layers. If I turn them both off in the layer area, you'll notice they both disappear. This top one I want to change to be a black and white copy. I could rename it, but I don't have to. Maybe I want to call this the original, so I can keep my layers straight. Okay, so I want to make this top one black and white. I can go to adjustments and choose black and white, and then I'll just say OK. Now the top one's black and white, so it's kind of like I've put a black and white image on top of a color copy of that image, right? So when it's not showing, this one shows through. Now if I want the color to pop through in certain areas, I could very simply use an eraser over here to erase the parts I want the color to show through on. And that's kind of big, so I could make my brush smaller if I want to get into tighter areas. Right, go along edges. Now if I want to get in closer, I can hold Control and hit plus. On a Mac it's Command plus, and then I can really get in here tighter. There are ways to do selecting as well, rather than just hand coloring these areas. However, honestly, it's kind of therapeutic to go along and color these. I'll do some Control minuses to go back out. We could try to get a little smarter with our selecting by selecting a small part and then growing that. Unfortunately, it grabbed a little bit extra. It looks like, because it grabbed the person's arm. But it will help us some. Right now it has all of this outside gray area plus the arm and the fingers selected. If we did an inverse, it switches and it has just these other parts. And now I can do a Control X to delete, and then that's done quite a lot of it for us. And then I can go in with that eraser and do a little more. And again, we can do the Control or Command if you're on a Mac plus to dig in a little deeper and do all these other areas. Make the brush a little smaller. Zoom back out with the Control minus. Now I've got the paper just on top, right? The black and white paper where I've cut out where the color is, basically. When it's showing, covers up that purple and makes it gray. I kind of like the original better in this case, but it's an interesting look at Photoshop. I feel satisfied with that, so I could save that. This will save Photoshop format by default, PSD, which would make it so I could come back and alter these layers in the future. If I want this to be something someone else can see, then I want to change the file type from Photoshop to, say, PNG, then that'll change the ending so that when they go to open it, I don't want to replace my original, so maybe I'll call it CP for ColourPop. Then I can send that to someone who doesn't have Photoshop and they'll be able to open it. They won't see the layers like this, but they'll see the image. This also allows you to be able to insert it into programs like, say, PowerPoint.